Hi everybody, welcome to week 5 ELA instructional video. Our standard for this week is that we are going to describe the overall structure, which is chronology or sequence, comparison, cause and effect, problem and solution, of events, ideas, concepts, or information in a text or part of a text, and that is RI 2.5. So this is your weekly overview of what you have to do for this week. This week you do have 6 tasks. So the first task you should have already done, which was watch the weekly overview video. Then right now you're watching the instructional video. So when you're done watching this whole video, you're going to do the weekly assignment, which is there's 2 assignments on Schoology. Then you're going to do the weekly assessment. That's your graded test. It is long. You need to take your time and do your very best because that's how I get your report card grades. Then you're going to watch the writing video, and then you're going to do task 6, which is mind play or iReady reading. You have to do both of those. Text structures. So we went over this last week, so if you want to pause it and read through this, but these are the text structures that we're going to be working on in quarter 1. So we have sequence or chronology, description, compare, contrast, cause and effect, problem and solution. So this is kind of a visual just for you to kind of, keep that talks about the text structures that we're going to work on in quarter 1. So we're going to do compare and contrast this week along with chronological, which is also called sequence. And last week we did problem and solution and description. So this kind of just gives you more information if you want to pause it. But for this week, we're going to do compare and contrast, which is the text should be discussing similarities and differences of one or more topics. So you can see in the picture, we would be comparing the triangle and the square. So you're going to compare 2 things, how they're the same and how they are different. And then, actually I did the wrong way, the same and how they are different. And then we're going to be learning about chronological or sequence. So it says the text should be discussing a specific topic in sequence or of events, so in order. A lot of the time when you see chronological text, they have dates, and the dates are in order throughout the text. So this visual kind of helps you because it goes from like a full battery down, down, down to nothing. So kind of in order. All right, so here's our 2 anchor charts for this week. So we have compare and contrast. So we just talked about compare, blank and blank are alike because, and blank are different because. So you're comparing how 2 things are the same and how they are different. Sequence is putting the events in order. So you can see our graphic organizer. This is just like the one we're going to do this week where we're putting the events in order. So this is the graphic organizer we're going to use for sequence. This is the graphic organizer we're going to use for compare and contrast. Okay, so the first text we're going to read is si se puede, which is, we're going to go ahead and move on. Okay, so here's our daily question for today. We'll go over this at the end of our lesson. All right, so let's go ahead and read. So si se puede, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Yes, it can be done. So we're going to read the whole thing, and then we're going to come back and we're going to answer the questions. So Cesar Estrada Chavez, 1927 to 1993, was a Mexican-American labor leader who used nonviolent methods to fight for the rights of migrant farm workers in the southwestern United States. Migrant workers often move from farm to farm or from town to town to find work. It is usually difficult work and does not pay a high wage. Chavez was influenced greatly by the peaceful philosophies of St. Francis of Assisi and Mohandas Gandhi. Chavez was born in Arizona in 1927. When he was 10 years old, his parents lost the family farm because of the Great Depression. They were forced to become migrant workers themselves. Chavez worked part-time in the farm fields with his family in Arizona and later in California when his family lived there. After graduating from 8th grade, Chavez worked full-time to help support his family. He served in the U.S. Navy during World War II, married Helen Fabula in 1948 and eventually helped raise a family of 8 children. Chavez and his wife helped teach Mexican immigrants to read and helped them with their voting registration. Hold on, I'm gonna get my glasses because I can't see. Okay, hold on. Get my glasses. That's better. Okay. Sorry. Let me reread that last paragraph because I was having a hard time seeing it. He served in the U.S. Navy during World War II, married Helen Fabula in 1948, and eventually helped raise a family of 8 children. Chavez and his wife helped teach Mexican immigrants to read and help them with voting registration. Chavez was concerned over the health and working conditions of the migrant population. Okay, let's stop for a second. So far I noticed some dates, and I noticed it talks about when he was born, so the timeline kind of starts. Hold on, my pen's not working. Okay, so I see that it says he was, why is it not working? You know what it is? Because it's too light, I can't see it. Let's use a darker color. Okay, so I see that it says he was born in 1927, and then it talks about when he was 10 years old. Then it talks about when he graduated from 8th grade. So I see that they're putting the events in order. And then it talks about in 1948, he married Helen Fabula. I hope I'm saying that right. And so I see that they're putting the events of his life kind of in order. Okay, let's reread paragraph 4. Chavez was concerned over the health and working conditions of the migrant population. He did not like the use of pesticides, the name of the chemicals used to kill bugs on the crops. He knew that pesticides could make the human beings sick. He organized a group of people to help work for the rights of farm workers. They worked on many goals like increasing the wages for the workers, improving their working conditions, and improving the safety for the farm workers. Chavez helped organize strikes whereby the workers chose to stop working to protest some important issues related to work. For example, the migrant workers went on strike to protest the poor wages, poor working conditions, and lack of safety on their jobs. They refused to work until something changed regarding their salary and these working conditions. The public, that is consumers like you, sometimes chooses to support the strike by not buying certain products or not buying from a certain store, etc. This is called a boycott. Boycotts put pressure on the people who make decisions regarding those who are protesting and striking. Chavez went on many hunger strikes too, which is another type of strike to prove a point and draw attention to what his concerns were. In a hunger strike, you basically do not eat until the demands are met. Chavez was able to use the hunger strikes to move legislators to change the laws to improve the lives of farm workers. Because of Chavez's actions, he was jailed many times. Despite this, he continued his goal of helping to fight for the migrant worker. Chavez, with aid from Dolores Huerta and Gilbert Padilla, started a union called the National Farm Workers Association, or NFWA, to help fight for social justice. He organized a national boycott of lettuce and grapes. The name NFWA was changed to the United Farm Workers, or UFW, in 1974. Oh, there's another date. In 1978, some of the demands for better wages and working conditions were met, so the boycott for the lettuce and grapes were lifted. Throughout his life, Chavez's motto was "Si se puede." This meant, yes, it can be done. Chavez proved that it could be done. His work for fair treatment and better pay for migrant workers helped make the lives of millions of people better. After a lifetime of working to help these people, Chavez died in 1993. Another date. He received the Presidential Medal of Freedom after his death. Chavez's children and grandchildren continue in his footsteps to help fight for the rights of migrant workers. All right, so let's look at our questions. So we noticed that they had all these dates and they were putting the events in order. So that lets me know that the text structure for this text is going to be chronological or sequence. All right, so let's look at number 1. What sentence from the text best supports why Caesar's family had to be migrant workers? So let's go back and look. So it talks about, trying to get my pen. When he was 10 years old, his family lost the family farm because of the Great Depression. They were forced to become migrant workers themselves. So that sentence right there tells me, actually those 2 sentences, tell me why his family became migrant workers. What is the meaning of the phrase migrant population as used in paragraph 4? So let's go find that in this in the text. We're going to circle it the best we can. And then we're going to read the sentence that it's in and the sentence after that to see if we can figure out what it means. Chavez was concerned over the health and working conditions of the migrant population. He did not like the use of pesticides, the name of the chemicals used to kill bugs on the crops. So I know if it's a population, it's a group of people. So if they say migrant population, it's probably talking about all the migrant workers put together. He's talking about all of them. All right, and the next question. What sentence from paragraph 3 best supports the overall text structure of sequence? So let's look at paragraph 3. He served, oh, what happened? I had it circled, I thought. He served in the U.S. Navy during World War II, married Helen Fabula in 1948, and eventually helped raise a family of 8 children. So it tells me those events of his life in order, and it has a date in it, so that kind of helps me know. So this sentence that I just read, the first sentence of paragraph 3, I'm going to try to underline this without crossing out all the words. Ooh. Oh, I was going to say I was doing such a good job. So that sentence tells me that this is sequence because it tells me the events of that part of his life in order. And there's a date that kind of helps me. All right, our last question. What evidence does the author use to support that Caesar accomplished si se puede? So I'm going to look for that phrase in the last part of the text. So I see it right here, si se puede. So throughout his life, Chavez's motto was si se puede. This meant, yes, it can be done. Chavez proved that it can be done. Okay, so let's keep going. His work for fair treatment and better pay for migrant workers helped make the lives of millions of people better. So that sentence tells me how he was able to accomplish si se puede. Okay, so I was supposed to have this typed and I did not type it in there. Let's see if I can type. No, it's not going to let me type. Maybe I can type up here. Annotate. Okay. So the first event in our text, this is going to be hard because I don't know if it's going to let me flip back and forth. But actually, you know what? I have the text over here. Hold on one second. You're going to have to look at the text. All right, here we go. Got it right here. This will make it a little easier. Okay. So the first thing we're going to put in our graphic organizer is Caesar was born in 1927. So it tells me this in paragraph 2. And I went ahead and as I was reading this, I did circle the dates. So I just can't flip back and forth on this screen. I don't think it's going to work very well. Okay. Go ahead and put the next event in. All right, so looking at the text, the next event. When he was 10 years old, his parents lost the family farm because of the Great Depression. So that's really important in the sequence of events because that's why his family was forced to become migrant workers. So we're going to take that, we're going to kind of condense it to a shorter sentence. So we're going to say I'm going to try. When Caesar was 10 years old, his family lost the family farm and they were forced to become migrant farm workers. I don't know if I can make this smaller. Well, that's not working out so great. Here, let's see if we can just make it like this. There we go. Okay, the next event. Okay, so if I'm looking at the text, the next event. So after graduating from 8th grade, Chavez worked full-time to support his family. Well, that's really important because he stopped, it sounds like he stopped going to school. So after 8th grade, Chavez started working full-time. And that's important because that tells me why he was so concerned about the people's working conditions. All right, let's keep going. So then we're going to keep our graphic organizer going down here at the bottom. So now it says, okay, this is very important. He served in the U.S. Navy during World War II. He married Helen Fabula in 1948 and eventually helped raise a family of 8 children. Chavez and his family helped teach Mexican immigrants to read and help them with voting registration. So that's going to be really hard to fit all that in this box. So we're going to say, Chavez served in the Navy, married Helen Fabula in 1948, 48, and helped raise 8 children. Okay, next box. We're going to, so now there's a lot of information. We're only in paragraph 4 and we have 10 paragraphs. So unfortunately, we're going to have to kind of summarize most of what we just said. So we did know that he helped organize strikes, hunger strikes, and boycotts. So we're going to put all those together and we're going to say Chavez organized hunger strikes, work strikes, and boycotts to try to help migrant workers. And then at the end, we're going to say, text, hold on. Okay, so we just summarized pretty much paragraph 5, 6, 7. He did start a union, so that's very important. So we're going to say Chavez started a union that still exists today and was able to improve the working conditions of migrant workers. So that kind of summarizes the last parts of this. So unfortunately, we didn't have enough room to put that, you know, he died and then he got the medal, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, but it does tell the most important things that impacted what Cesar Chavez did. So I'm really happy with this graphic organizer that we did. All right, let's go ahead and keep moving. Oh, okay, let me clear this. Clear. Okay, daily question. Everybody ready? Hold on, because this won't go away. Okay, there we go. What sentence from the text best supports the overall structure of Si Se Puede? So we said that the text structure was sequence or chronological order. So let's look at our choices here. A, they were forced to become migrant workers themselves. B, Chavez was concerned over the health and working conditions of the migrant population. C, he organized a group of people to help work for the rights of farm workers. D, throughout his life, Chavez's motto was Si se puede. This meant, yes, it can be done. All right, I want you to think about what answer do you think it is? Shout it out. Okay, the answer is, I have to click the wrong button. There we go. Oh, no, wait a minute. There we go. The answer is D. So the key words there are throughout his life. That's telling me that throughout his whole life. And that's really what the text structure is in this text, is telling me throughout his life how he really, kind of showed what si se puede really meant. All right. Text 2, the history of money. So this text is not going to be sequence. This has a different text structure. So as I'm reading, I want you to think, what text structure might this be? Here's our daily question for today, which we'll answer at the end. If you want to pause it and read it now, you can, so you have an idea of what you're trying to answer. Okay. I don't know why that says graphic organizer. It's not supposed to. So we're going to go ahead and read through the text. We'll do the same thing. We're going to answer the questions, and then I actually already have the graphic organizer filled in, but we're going to talk about it once we get there. Okay, so the history of money. So remember, as I'm reading, you're trying to figure out what text structure is this. The history of money. What makes money valuable? If you think about it, a dollar bill is only a piece of paper. You cannot eat, wear, or live in a dollar bill. So why do people want it? Think about the proverb, money doesn't grow on trees. Money is considered valuable because it is hard to get. Bartering. Imagine you're a great herder visiting a marketplace in China in 1200 BC. The merchandise being sold around you ranges from cattle to tools. Suppose you need to purchase a piece of rope. How will you pay for it? The goats you own are your sole source of income, so you would not want to trade a goat for the rope. The goat is too valuable. Instead, you might trade goat milk for the rope. This system of economics is called bartering. But what if the rope merchant does not want goat milk? Early currency. No need to cry over spilt milk. Luckily, you sold some goat milk earlier in the day in exchange for 10 cowrie shells, the first system of currency in China. You hand 2 cowrie shells to the rope merchant and put the rest in your pocket. This is a much easier way to buy and sell things. Cowrie shells are lightweight, durable, and easy to take with you than a goat. The idea of currency is catching on around the world in Thailand, India, and Africa. You decide to save your extra shells until you have enough to invest in another goat. You will be spending cowries with the expectation that another goat will pay off later since you can drink or sell the milk it produces. Taking this type of business risk makes you an entrepreneur. New kinds of currency. If you were at a marketplace in Rome around 900 BC, you might have used salt as a form of currency. The idiom, to be worth one's salt, is still used today. Another form of currency, metal coins, first emerged in China around 1000 BC. Coins varied in shape, size, and worth. By the 7th century BC, coins made of previous metals such as silver and gold became popular in Europe and the Middle East. These coins were usually round. After being weighed on a scale to determine their value, coins were stamped with designs that stated their worth. Paper money. Carrying a bag of coins can be heavy. The weight of coins and a metal shortage are 2 reasons the use of paper money developed in China in the 10th century. The earliest European paper money appeared in Sweden at the beginning of the 17th century. Italy started to use paper money about 90 years later. Paper money originally represented the gold or silver a person had in the bank. Today, we can tell the value of paper money by reading the numbers printed on it. Modern money. In today's global economy, exchanging money electronically is common. Many people use a credit or debit card to make a digital transaction. Numbers on a computer screen represent dollars and cents, but no actual paper money is exchanged. As easy as it is to spend today, as easy as to spend money today, saving money is important. When considering spending money, think of the famous proverb, a penny saved is a penny earned. All right, let's go ahead and look at our questions. Question 1, what evidence supports the idea that calories are the most used form of currency? So first of all, I'm going to look for the word calories in my text. All right, so right here it says, in exchange for 10 calorie shells, the first system of currency in China. I thought there was another sentence, but that does tell me that it's one of the first systems. But I thought there was another sentence that tells me. I guess there's not. I guess that's it. I guess that's a sentence. All right. Question 2. What is the meaning of the word merchandise? Right here. The merchandise being sold around you ranges from cattle to tools. So I think merchandise might mean things that are being sold or things that can be bought. All right, the next question. What sentence from paragraph 6 best supports the overall text structure of sequence? So it says, first emerged in China around 1000 BC. Oops, okay. I think I already answered all these questions. Okay, so here's our graphic organizer. We went ahead and filled it in. Okay, so we're talking about all these different kinds of currency. So it does tell me in chronological order what the different types of currency are, but we are talking about what each one is. So we're gonna go ahead and talk. So the first type of currency that we talked about was cowrie shells and animals. So specific details about that in the text was that cowrie was the first system of currency and calories are lightweight shells. So that came right from the text. The next type of currency that we talked about was salt and metal coins. And then it said in the text, salt was used in Rome in 900 BC. Coins were the most precious metals in the 7th century. The next type of money we talked about was paper money. And then that is Sweden began using paper money in the 17th century. Italy began using paper money 90 years later. And then the last one I went ahead and filled in was talking about modern money. So we use debit or credit cards or electronic money. Oops, and it says in the text, paper money isn't used as frequently. We use debit or credit cards and electronic money. All right, daily question. What sentence from the text best supports the overall structure of the history of money? A, making this type of business risk makes you an entrepreneur. B, the weight of coins and a metal shortage are 2 reasons the use of paper money developed in China in the 10th century. C, paper money originally represented the gold or silver a person had in the bank. Today, we can tell the value of paper money by reading the numbers printed on it. D, another form of currency, metal coins, first emerged in China around 1000 BC, varied in shape, size, and worth. All right, so what answer do you think it is? All right, so the answer is D. Another form of metal currency, metal coins, first emerged in China around 1000 BC, varied in shape, size, and worth. All right, so what's next? So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to do the weekly assignments on Schoology. Then you're going to do the weekly assessment. That's your reading test for this week. Remember, it is for a grade, so you want to do your very best. The next thing, task 5, is you're going to watch the writing video. And then the last thing you're going to do is mind play. So I know Rosemary hasn't done the mind play diagnostic, so you're going to do that. Then once you're done, you're going to do 30 minutes of mind play every single day. So you have to have 150 minutes of mind play, and then 45 minutes for the whole week of iReady reading. All right, if you have any questions, let me know.